The Philadelphia Eagles showed us all recently how much we love to see an old uniform for an NFL team return to that team and be worn in the modern era. So today, I'm going to show you an old uniform from every NFL team that needs to come back soon. First up, the Buffalo Bills. These are the three options I narrowed it down to for the Bills. The middle one I was really interested in because of the fact that the Bills have gone with this throwback standing buffalo look for a while, but they haven't been willing to wear a blue jersey with it. The one on the left probably isn't a good option because it looks kind of similar to the old school Lions. In fact, when the Bills wore that back in the day, it may have been the old Lions uniforms. So that meant that we went with the red helmet Bills in the 1990s. There's a look at a little bit of a Josh Allen edit just to make it look a little bit like it could be in the modern era. And I think a lot of Bills fans would be excited for it. Next, we got the Dolphins. For the Dolphins, I thought they had to go with an orange jersey. I don't love the orange jersey look for the full uniform, like orange jersey as well with orange pants. But there was also a cool edit I found here of kind of the throwback looking Dolphins look with a base orange jersey that I also thought was sick. Next, for the Patriots, these were the three I went to. I think one thing I need to note with the uniform all the way on the left is that I do want people to know that teams should not be afraid to wear throwbacks on the road. And I feel like that's something that really needs to come back. The Patriots wear that version with the Patriots snapping the football with a red jersey nowadays, but they aren't likely to wear a white jersey with red pants in that version of the jersey. And then obviously you have the middle one that has the huge logos on the sleeves, but I went with the silver jersey. The silver jersey is a really subtle change, but I think with how they rock it, it's a really nice thing for people paying close attention. Next, we got the Jets. The Jets, I am 100%. I love this uniform, New York Titans uniform. It looks absolutely amazing. I love simplicity in jerseys, and I'm in love with this one for the Jets. Next up, we got the Steelers. These were the finalists for all the Steelers. Up top, you have the striped ones, which they've worn in and out. I'm not really too worried about that. Then you've got yellow all over the sleeves, as well as an option with white pants, white jersey, white pants, which looks funny looking at it in the modern day. But 100%, I need the Steelers to rock this gold helmet again. This look just looks so sleek to me, and I feel like it complements their other jerseys like perfectly. I love it so much and want them to bring it back. Next, we got the Ravens. The Ravens is kind of tough because really differences from today to back then isn't too easy to tell. If you look to the left, you kind of see I'm just pointing out the different logo they could have on the helmet. But I think the more interesting option, if you look over to the 2015 Ravens, is if you see that pant color they wore. What I think they need to do is I think they need to bring back the uniform with that pant color, but then they need to use the Color Rush jersey that has the matching number with that pant color. And I think it would make those pants look a lot better because of the fact that those pants were only worn once and they looked bad because there was nothing really matching them. And I think that just the number itself being that same color would be a great option. Next, we got the Browns. First off, props to them. I didn't think they would actually come through with that full 1946 look with the white helmet and the jersey like that. I'm a sucker for any jersey numbers that go over top of each other. The orange underneath the brown on that jersey looks amazing. There were a decent number of options here. Looking at orange jerseys on the left, there's a Nick Chubb one. Then there's the other orange jerseys they had while Johnny Manziel was playing. And there's some really old school orange jerseys. But I had to go with that Odell Beckham Jr. look with that all brown. All their new uniforms look really sleek, but that's the only one from the previous era that I think is missed. For the Bengals don't have a ton of options. The Bengals have been killing the uniform game recently, but honestly, just one game a year threw on the script Bengals. Say, hey, they got on Thanksgiving or something. One of the things I loved about the Thanksgiving games was always getting a throwback jersey from whatever teams were playing. If the Bengals ever had a Thanksgiving game, maybe that would be a good time to break this one out or something. Next, the Colts. The Colts are really weird. In the modern era, they definitely don't have many options for what you could do. I circled a few here just for minor differences. So you have blue helmets there on the right, then you have blue jersey with blue helmets on the right, and you even have a red jersey with a blue helmet for the Colts way back in the day. But I think because of kind of just how all over the place that is, you got to go back to the one time they were able to wear blue helmets in the 2000s. And if they brought that one back, it'd be pretty cool. Next up, the Texans. The Texans are really weird because they just did redesigns of their jerseys, and it honestly doesn't feel terribly right to say that they need to have a jersey that basically just got retired because all their jerseys just got retired. Here are some interesting ideas from this designer with Derek Stingley jersey represented on both sides. I love the idea of including the Texas flag on the shoulders, but more so, I think what you could even do is if you want an answer, now with the new jerseys, they don't have a red jersey, blue pant combo. So that's kind of what I was interested in. But honestly, if there was any way they could purchase the Oilers rights back, you can just see with all the things I circled over there, blue Oilers helmet, a silver Oilers helmet, silver Oilers pants, a blue Oilers helmet with the red interior on it. And then there's obviously the standard look for the Oilers with how Warren Moon was there. And then in the top right, there's just a crazy one with a red jersey, but that was because they actually had their jerseys stolen at one point. And Titans fans, if you're mad that I'm talking about that, well, actually, don't worry, you're next up. And if you would like to apply any of these options to your team as well, with those different Oiler options, you could. But for the Titans, I just went back to this because the Titans haven't worn this beautiful light blue on light blue combo in a few years. And it could be either of the styles of jersey. I just love how that looks. Next up, Jaguars. I like this look. I think the number one thing that I need to say here is I put the newer Jags helmets over it because I would like them to go with one of the newer ones. Whether it's the throwback one or the new one, it wouldn't matter. We just don't like that helmet that was a part of that era. But I actually do like the combo. And Alan Hearns looks pretty sick in this shot here, as well as just talking about uniforms in general for NFL teams. I feel like I need to point out that the NFL really needs to figure out some sort of solution to the fact that NFL players can no longer wear these tinted visors during games because they just make players look so cool. And I know it's because of head injuries, but I feel like we could figure out a way to be able to quickly get them off, remove them, or some sort of solution because they are an awesome part of all these players' games, and so many players wear them during warm-ups, showing that they would love to wear them during games. So if we can figure out a solution to that to be able to check people's eyes still to make sure they're not concussed, that would be great. Next up, the Chiefs. This one's really simple. The Chiefs have been really consistent their entire existence, going from the Dallas Texans to the Kansas City Chiefs. It was only a few years in Dallas, but obviously, they could wear that again, just in case it looks too similar to the Chiefs. And it's a different jersey design once again. But I have seen this yellow jersey for the Chiefs do decent numbers of sales. So if they wanted to create a new alternate, they could possibly do that as well. The Broncos, really, this is the only Broncos jersey in the modern day that doesn't have something similar to it from the past. And I actually really appreciate it. I don't think most of the uniform looks that bad. I think the yellow jersey, the brown pants, the brown helmet, I actually think it all matches pretty well. I just think the vertical stripes on the socks give it character. I know that a lot of people don't like vertical stripes. Frankly, I don't really care for them when other teams do them on the jersey, but there's something I like about it on the socks. Then we got to go to the Raiders. The Raiders, this was really interesting. So if you look back early on in Raiders history, you actually see that they used to have these gold uniforms, but as you can see, there was no logos on the side of the helmet. So then you could look at some potential options for adding a gold logo onto the side of the helmet as well, if you went with an old school look to say a really old school throwback. But then, hey, if you don't like that and you say, oh, that's too similar, especially if you don't add the Raiders logo, maybe just throw some black pants on Raiders players because the Raiders have never worn black pants, even though they're silver and black. So, next up, interestingly, with the Chargers, they took one season off wearing the royal blue combo they had. They have so many different options of blue. Maybe they just decided this year to simplify it down. But the other thing you can go with, if only one season without it isn't long enough, is you could add back the navy blue helmet that they used to have. In the modern day, they're not rocking a navy blue helmet, and it's a part of the LT era, so it feels pretty important to the Chargers. Next up, the Cowboys. Really the only option that the Cowboys haven't worn recently is the away version of the shoulder stars from way back in the day. I think it would be interesting to see a modern recreation of this. It's not too exciting, but they don't have a ton of combos, so it was really the only choice. Once again, since it was the only combo, I also wanted to look at that pant color difference that if you pay really close attention, you may notice with the Cowboys pants every once in a while. And it's a really unique color, and they don't use it in any other part of their uniform, which makes it very strange when you actually notice it. But it would be really cool if they ever did jerseys with that combination. Next, Giants. I think this is really simple. I used this edited picture of Saquon instead of the old school pictures back in the day when they were all wearing red jerseys, just because I think seeing the shoulder pads actually tight like that on a new style red jersey actually makes you realize how good a modern version of this could look for the Giants. And I think that that's really interesting. And I would love to see that return for the Giants because they haven't worn a red jersey in a while. Next up, the Eagles. I already talked to start about how much we love the Kelly Greens. So honestly, just if they could wear a road version of it too every once in a while, that would be sick. And then I put the ugliest uniform in existence in the bottom left-hand corner for the Eagles. And I think everybody universally hates that. But one of the things that NFL teams used to do way back in the day is actually had unique uniforms that they only wore for the preseason, like specific elements that they wouldn't wear for the preseason. So, I mean, if the NFL really wanted to keep it interesting with the preseason, teams could wear some of their weirdest throwback uniform combinations for preseason games. And I would love to see that. It's a really stupid idea, but maybe it would pique more interest for preseason games, honestly. Next, Washington. So obviously with the Commanders, the only little change, I love this uniform, just these colors and how it works together, and then especially the brown dome. But obviously you got to get rid of the old school logo. I'm fine with replacing the logo on the shoulder pads on the shoulders with whatever, probably just a modern Washington Commanders logo just because they want to get rid of all the old moniker stuff. That's cool. I think it would still look great because I love this color scheme. Next, we've got the Lions, and we are in the NFC North now, which is miserable because you'll realize that the NFC North has so many old school teams, and it makes you do so much research to figure out what you want. If you want to look to the left, you're going to see what the Lions began as, which was the Portsmouth Spartans, and they had purple as their main color. Then the Lions had periods in the late 40s and mid 50s where they tried things like red jerseys, red helmets, red socks, black is a part of their color scheme, and then even gold helmets at one point. They were just all over the place, so it didn't feel right just selecting a completely alternate color for them. But as I did mention earlier, I would love to see throwbacks on Thanksgiving Day always. So whether it's these silver helmets, these plain silver helmets, just blue and silver as the only two colors of the uniform, or purple and red if they want to go crazy for a crazy throwback alternate look. I just love the idea of throwbacks on Thanksgiving because it's all about tradition, right? So moving on, next NFC North team that also has a ton of history, the Packers. I decided since I showed that much for the Lions, I wouldn't go all over the place with the rest of the teams. There were a good number of options here. I mean, yellow jerseys for the Packers, green jersey, but with a different golden look on it too. And then just one that straight up says Acme Packers on the front. I love the idea of that. I would love to see a modern version of that. But if they can't do that, I would still be happy with them going back to this look that they rocked in the 2000s with the circle, the yellow circle on the front, brown helmets. The brown helmets even more than the yellow helmets, in my opinion. Just make it feel old school, and I love that feeling. I think it looks really tough, honestly. Then, next up, you got the Bears. The options I went with for the Bears were this red option for their, to show their history of being the Decatur Staleys when they started, and then an all orange option, which I feel kind of in between on, but this look with the sleekness. Simplicity is so sleek, and no logos on the side of the helmet just really makes the navy blue and orange contrast each other. I love this look for the Bears. Next, the Vikings. The Vikings are one of those teams that really hasn't seen a ton of change in their uniform history. They look really similar. One of the things I would say, though, is just that you probably, if you pick one, it's going to be this one right here to the left and then in the Moss photo. because of the fact that they had that amazing 1999 season. I feel like that's something to memorize. But also, you could also consider things like putting this logo all the way to the top right on the side of the helmet instead of the horn, or even going with a yellow jersey like seen in the bottom right-hand corner. Then the Buccaneers, same as many other teams. We love the creamsicles, so why not give us an away creamsicle jersey in the modern day? Next, the Panthers were almost impossible. The Panthers had these are all, on the left side, these are all the Panthers uniform combinations for last season, and they're almost all exact copies of something they've worn in the past. The only combination that I was able to find in a relatively quick manner was this combination they wore in 1998, and it's getting very specific because it's white jerseys, silver pants, and blue socks. Because even this past year, they wore white jerseys, silver pants, but white socks. So if you're not happy with that answer, looking for another difference that the Panthers could make, they could add a blue helmet to their arsenal, as you see in the bottom right-hand corner with Bryce Young there. The Saints. The Saints really don't have a ton of options either because of the fact that their throwback kind of includes everything they've ever worn. This is the one jersey that really sticks out in their past that I just love the uniqueness of. If you've got a weird, almost like tertiary color or even secondary color for a jersey, I love it, and I love just looking at this gold jersey. It looks so unique, and I would love to see a modern recreation of it. Next, the Falcons. To start the Mike Vick era wearing these jerseys, I love the black jersey of this uniform, but I think the white jersey looks even better than the black jersey that they wore in this era, and I would love to see a road jersey version of this uniform once again. The Cardinals, I think it's really simple. The Cardinal looked a little bit simpler in the early 2000s before they switched to their first modern-ish uniform, since we've had another uniform change for them since then. But I also love having that, I think it's the Arizona flag on the away jerseys for this uniform as well. I just love that look, and I would love to see it in the modern day. Next, shockingly, I didn't know this, and I was scared when I was going into the 49ers, like, what old school look can I find for them that's that's different? And I feel like the black uniform for the 49ers on the right never really felt like it fit the Niners. It's a good look, but it just doesn't feel like the 49ers. I think the look on the left actually could be recreated in a really cool way. And the 49ers were all about a gold rush. Well, I mean, we could just talk about a silver rush. We could modernize these and put together a great advertising campaign that says, come check out the 49ers wearing these silver rush uniforms in the modern day. There's a picture, silver dome, and a guy playing in it as well. Next, we got the Rams. The Rams, it feels like the only option is really to go back to this strong yellow color that the modern uniforms have kind of taken a little bit out of favor, just in terms of it's not as prevalent in the uniforms. And then I swear they wore this gold jersey in the mid-2000s, but I must have just had a memory lapse because they never actually wore it, so I couldn't choose that. And obviously, with how successful this game was with Samson Ebukam and the Rams going against Patrick Mahomes there in that game, what was about 7 years ago at this point, I think that's one of the greatest regular season games of all time. Probably was, and it just makes that uniform feel special, so I would obviously love them to bring it back for that reason. And last but not least, we have the Seahawks. And because the Seahawks are the last team, I figured I'd just make a final choice that is actually two different uniforms. I will give the Seahawks two uniforms for all their fans who waited to the end to see the Seahawks. We want the away throwback uniforms because we just got the throwback uniforms for their home jerseys in the dark blue. Let's get the white ones now. And I'll take the lime green jerseys, their first rendition of it that a lot of people didn't like. But I think in a modern day, with just padding getting smaller and stuff like that, kind of like the Giants red jersey I showed back a few minutes ago, I think it would look excellent. And with that, thank you for watching. Please like, because you did watch all the way to the end. Comment something really awesome to tell me why I'm wrong. And subscribe. Thank you for watching.
So, if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.
2020 president candidate.